I mean,
Carlos dangerous for Derek at the Arnold in
yeah,
5 weeks.
of course, dangerous.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with 6 weeks out physique update of the former Miss Olympia Brandon Curry. Now, it is shocking to see how if a normal person who doesn't really follow bodybuilding, he sees Brandon wearing a shirt, he just won't think much of that. But he will be shocked to his absolute core on what's beneath all that. And we have got to put some respect on his name. Because he will always be the guy number 15 in the bodybuilding history to have won that standout. Now, two things to notice here in this update is that the camera angle is making his upper body a bit smaller than usual, but at the same time, his quads are looking so damn impressive. In fact, you guys can see a bit of feathering going on his quads, which is something we never actually saw before. So that's a great sign right there. The side leg of Brandon has always been his strength, and no surprise there at all that the man looks awesome in that side chest. So the aesthetics of Brandon Curry are still one of the best and the most impressive in the world. I mean, the man is crazy round and full, and he has all that insane muscle bellies, all 3D looking. He has that lower chest striations already, and that makes his most muscular. One of the most powerful shots in the entire bodybuilding roster. And honestly, I have got to say his conditioning for 6 weeks out of this upcoming Arnold, that looks so damn good. And if we compare him to his past versions, we were just so used to see him in all of those check-ins at the Occident Gym Kuwait, where they would just put the camera so far away from him that it was literally impossible to judge whether he looks better or the same as the previous updates. So this physique right here at the age of 42, that is nothing but inspirational for so many guys out there. But I'm afraid guys like Samson and Andrew Jack, they are equally ecstatic, if not more. And they are now bigger and a lot better than Brandon. But still, super excited to see how this peak goes for Brandon. Because first of all, the man is working with a new coach for this one. And secondly, this was a longer prep for him compared to this past Miss Olympia. And the fact that he was already in shape for the Olympia last year, I think this might be one of his best versions in the last few years. So it isn't just the diet and the training that Carlos Thomas Jr. is absolutely focused on. The man is also trying to perfect his posing and presentation, because the man is about to step on the biggest bodybuilding show of his career and the second biggest bodybuilding show of the year. So still no back shots posted by Carlos, but no one can deny he probably looks the most impressive in some of these poses, like the front double, because he has those unreal proportions. And now that Patrick is pushing him really hard with the low carbs as well as increased cardio, his waist is coming in so nicely. And we still have a little more than 6 weeks to go till this upcoming Arnold. And that is plenty of time to fine tune everything. Now Carlos's arms and his chest, I believe they are way too big for his overall shoulder development. And that is exactly what you guys can also see in that front large spread. I believe he's gonna struggle in that specific shot against guys like Andrew Jack and Samson Dauda, who are just way too massive and extremely aesthetic. Those guys have enormous shoulder width and they create barracks frame and they take up so much space on the stage. But Carlos is also one of those guys who is extremely dense and really thick. And the reason I'm not mentioning Derek Linsford here in this thread is because you guys need to watch the latest episode of the Menace podcast, where Carlos made it look like he is gonna be extremely competitive against the likes of Derek in every single shot except the back double biceps. Now, that's really big talk, especially against a guy who just won Miss Olympia 1 year back.
As far as Derek, I think that's a very close matchup for me because we're similar height. And I think that I can win a lot of shots against him. You know, very much respect to him. But
So I really want to know, how did you guys feel about this scenario? Is Carlos being overconfident, or Derek's Olympia 2024 package that was just so vulnerable that everyone is gunning for him at this upcoming Arnold, Ohio, and also for the Olympia later this year? Now those quads on Carlos are just so freaking wild, and they are gonna look even more impressive as the man starts to get them more separated and bring out more detail. And judging by his Texas Pro look back in 2023, his squads will definitely be more separated. So nothing to worry about there, as he is being coached by one of the best in the business. So do let me know what you guys think. Is Carlos the dark horse for this upcoming Arnold?
You know, I mean, like my front double, I have a small waist too. I have good legs. With the way his legs kind of came in, you know, this past Olympia, Chris, I know you're working with him, buddy. You're working with the enemy. It's okay. I forgive you.
Next up, we have a 16 weeks out physique update from Matteo-Fitzwater. Now, this is crunch time for Martin, because this time he has to beat a very motivated Nick Walker, who is making his comeback, and possibly the former Miss Olympia, Derek Lunsford, at this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro. So this is gonna be a very different year for Martin compared to last year, as he is no longer the underdog, because the man just placed top 4 at his Olympia debut. I believe many people out there have him as the favorite to win the Pittsburgh Pro, rather than Nick Walker or even Derek Lunsford. So whenever there are high expectations, there also comes that pressure to perform every single time and live up to those high expectations. Now, in terms of the total freak factor, if you put Martin versus Nick side by side, especially this variation of the most muscular, Nick Walker stands out 100% because the man is just so damn big and freaky. But Martin is gonna expose Nick Walker on that symmetry round, more specifically in the legs department from the front, because the man just has got that massive quad sweep, especially in comparison to Nick. I think we can all agree the man has way better aesthetics than the mutant. Now this just looks way too good for 16 weeks out. The man is just so lean for that far out. But then again, he wasn't looking to put on a huge amount of muscle during this offseason, because if Martin tries to play that size game, that can totally backfire. That can be the biggest mistake. So 2024 was an amazing year for Martin, but he's about to face a very serious challenge on his first show in 2025. So the good thing about Martin is that he's already qualified for the Olympiad this year, and that was by winning Prague against Chris Bumstead. Next up, we have a 16 weeks out physique update from Blessing Avodibu. So after going through a very long offseason, which was a very dirty bulk, the man has finally started this prep, and this wasn't an easy push phase for Blessing, because not everybody is like Samson Dauda and Derek, and most of these pros out there, they have to force feed themselves, which is quite possibly one of the most difficult things these pros have to do, especially for the men's open bodybuilding. To put on that muscle mass, to put on that size, they have to intake massive amounts of food, and then they have to maintain that as well, and they have to keep force feeding themselves, and that also puts a lot of toll on all of your organs as well. And Blessing was 320 pounds at the peak of this offseason, so the added size, that is clearly visible right now in this update. And if you are a Blessing fan, you would desperately hope that a big percentage of all that size that goes to his quads, because nobody ever said a word about his upper body. Even last time when we saw him on the stage, his upper body was pretty damn good and very comparable against guys like Nathan D'Asia and Regan Grimes. The problem has always been his legs, and surely there will be some improvements since Blessing hasn't competed for almost 16 months. But I do believe the shows that he has chosen for his comeback, the Pittsburgh Pro as well as the New York Pro, they are looking incredibly tough because of the long list of the top Olympians who are gonna be there. Forget about Martin, Nick, and Derek for a moment. Nathan D'Asia was also doing the Pittsburgh Pro in 16 weeks' time. The last time Blessing went up against Nathan D'Asia, that was in Italy back in 2023, and it wasn't even close between both these guys. In fact, Blessing was 5th in that show. Next up, we have the physique update from Behrooz+Blessing. So AJ Kelly confirmed that Behrooz+Blessing is going to defend the Italy Pro as well as Dubai Pro title, and Milo Sarcev, his coach, also hinted on that. But both these shows, they are scheduled in June, and based on this kind of look of Behrooz+Blessing, the man can easily get ready for this upcoming Arnold Brazil, which is happening in 11 weeks from now. Now, I am not sure about Flex Pro Italy, but you bet Dubai Pro this year, that is going to have a very competitive lineup. Matteo-Fitzwater is going to be there, and if the prize money is even bigger than the previous year, which it will be, more big names are going to jump into that shoe. Not doubting Behrooz+Blessing, as we have a mutual consensus that he is a first call-out Olympia guy, but the man is looking like this when he is 6 months out of the show. So I believe he can enter this upcoming Arnold Brazil and start this 2025 season with an absolute bang. So hopefully 2025 is gonna be that year when we are gonna finally see Behrooz+Blessing on the Olympia stage, shaking that top 6. And I sincerely hope that happens this time. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.